friends, so welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Holly. I am a homesteading, homeschooling, frugal living mom of 4 amazing kiddos, and today we're going to talk about buying in bulk. My personal philosophy is prepare for the worst, hope for the best. So I just want to give you kind of my easy tips on buying in bulk, what we have done, how we and how we have, like how you buy in bulk, how you shop for a largest family. It was really funny because I'm on Babysitter a lot, and I was reading threads like back when COVID kind of started, and they were telling people to get like 2 weeks worth of groceries because if you are, have to quarantine, then you don't go grocery shopping, yada, yada, yada. And it was so funny because there's a lot of families like us who we go through 2 gallons of milk a week. We go through, even if we're trying to be careful because my kids love milk. So that'd be like 4 gallons of milk, tons of, eggs, because that was before we had chickens. And like our cart would be overflowing because my children are bottomless pits, it seems. So I have kind of since then have started working on slowly building a bit of a stockpile, nothing too crazy, but just enough to give me that buffer to be able to feel more comfortable if things were to get slim in the wintertime, because obviously winter's coming. So I have a few tips that I want to share with you that how I buy in bulk, and for somebody who is naturally anxious, I feel like this just helps me feel a little bit better about groceries and stuff. So I have 3 kind of tips how I buy in bulk, my just kind of my stuff. So first of all, one of the things that we did do in about May time, because we knew that things kind of shutting down for COVID was going to create a bit of a ripple effect. And I think things are kind of getting back into production, but there is going to be kind of a lull in a sense where things might be in short supply, which of course we've seen, and like beef prices have gone way up recently. So one of the biggest things that we did is we went out and bought, I think we got them at Lowe's or Home Depot, one of those places, food grade 5-gallon buckets. And I know that sounds crazy, but we buy our flour now, our sugar, and like rice in like 25-pound bags. You can put them in these food grade buckets. They have really good sealing lids, and they will last you as long as you're like rotating through them, about a year. One of the reasons why is I started cooking a lot more from scratch because we have a kiddo with some medical needs, which made it to where we needed to kind of use less processed food because some of her condition is somewhat exacerbated by like especially soy. Like she can't have soy, which is in everything, especially anything processed. So even breads, it's really hard to find bread that is our kids something that she can eat. So I make a lot of bread. I actually learned how to make tortillas. They are the best tortillas in my life. I love them. So if you want me to do a video on them, they're really easy to make. Let me know, and I will definitely let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely make it a video because they're so good and they're so easy. So I buy flour and I go through it. Like we have 2 of those buckets full of flour, and we rotate probably every 2 months. We're buying we're going through that much flour. So my number 1 tip when it comes to bulk buying is only buy what you are going to use. There's been too many times that I have literally gone out and bought a bunch of stuff to bulk buy that my family doesn't really like, or we just don't use. One of the biggest things I would say is like certain soups or things that like I know that like vegetable soup or something. We never eat vegetable soup. My kids don't really like it, but I find it on sale for 50 cents a can or something, and I buy a whole case, and then it sits for years. So what we've started doing, like I use a lot of things. So I buy a lot of like ingredients, like diced tomatoes is a big one, flour, sugar, rice. We use that a lot because we make a lot of meals with those ingredients. Basically anything that you're going to use a lot of. We do a lot of protein. I will do like what I call like a protein coffee in the morning. And so I will buy like a couple canisters of protein, like protein powder, because it's the way I like my coffee, and it gives me a little bit of substance, I guess, in the morning, because I try to just have that and then not really eat until a little bit later, try to help, balance my weight and stuff. So only buy what you're going to use. Don't buy it because it's a good deal, because it's on sale. One thing I do notice is a lot of stuff that goes on sale is like super processed, junky food. So that's why we are very careful. Number two, make sure that you're storing things properly. So we did create, and I will link it below. It was basically homemade kind of emergency food supplies. So you can make homemade emergency food supplies. You don't have to buy from a company necessarily. Now, it's nothing fancy. It's literally one meal beans and rice, and I think like one meal of oats with like some spices and sugar. So basically, if there was no food in our house and there was no food on the shelves, we would basically eat twice a day, and we have enough, I think, for 5 months for our family. You buy Mylar bags, and then they also went into those 5-gallon buckets. I will link it below. It's really easy to make. And like if you're an anxious person like me, just having it, and I think the shelf life's like 20 years. And if it, if we never use it in 20 years and we throw it away, it was money well spent in my mind. So making sure you're storing things properly. We are using our laundry room as kind of our auxiliary pantry. We put some shelves in, and I'm using it because it's dry in there and it's cool and it doesn't, so it's easy to store things. Making sure that you keep things from getting moist, because mold is a big issue. I'm still trying to figure out how to safely store my potatoes, because those seem to be the hardest thing for me. But basically, and if you have any tips on that, leave them below. Like using the food grade buckets is really helpful because you can seal them. They're, watertight, airtight. And if you have Mylar bags, I know a lot of people use them sometimes to store. Well, we used them, and you can use them to store things. Number three, so it's really hard to show up and spend like $1,000 at Costco to buy stuff in bulk. What we started doing since May, and I would say like start as soon as you can, like an extra 20 to 50 bucks a week or a month or whatever, and just buy a little bit here and there. I think I bought a 25-pound bag of flour for like $9 at Walmart yesterday or a couple days ago. So super inexpensive. And so even for an extra 20 bucks, you can buy a few extra. We do frozen vegetables a lot. We kind of keep those on stock. I've shown you before the chicken leg quarters. They're very cheap, very easy. And, I've even shown you how you just boil the chicken to cook it, debone it, and then you can use it in, stews, soups. I do chicken Alfredo with it, all sorts of things. So a little bit every month helps. You don't need to be going out and buying hundreds of dollars of stuff, but if you just take an extra 20, 30 bucks every week, every grocery trip, and just pick up a few non-perishables. Like a couple days ago at Walmart, I was able to get cans of corn and green beans, which we eat a lot, for 50 cents a can. So I bought 12 each, and there was a ton on the shelves. And so I find that doing a little bit, and then by the end of it, you realize like you have all this stuff saved up. And then kind of what I do is throughout the winter, we kind of go through our stash. So my goal is to kind of be ready to start bulk buying things again, like by next spring. So I'll probably stop stocking by the end of this month, October. So like November, December, January, February, we'll be kind of using our stash, and then going into the spring, we start stocking back up again. So those are just kind of my tips and tricks. They kind of help me feel more comfortable with what's going on. Like I'm not going to freak out, and for all we know, it could just be things are just still adjusting, but at least I feel like my family's taken care of, and that's really what matters. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.